Yes, I know you've endured seemingly countless glasses of piss, but in this next episode, just have a pitcher ready, because you have to drink all of that too. Episode 3, Omashu. This is an amalgamation of two episodes blended into one. With that said, these episodes aren't complementary to each other like peanut butter and jelly or wine and cheese, but more like oil and water or an anchovy milkshake. With all that said, get out the hard stuff to drink to chase down the endless amounts of piss, and let's begin.
Say, how would you like a nice old-fashioned?
How would you like one across your lips? Don't be calling me old-fashioned. You better talk to him. I better call me.
He's not calling you old-fashioned, Pop. That's the name of the drink.
Oh, well, tell me something.
The episode starts with apparently a small group of Earth Nation rebels in the Fire Nation capital plotting a coup to kill Fire Lord Ozai. The head rebel introduces another member, and this new member states her mother and brother were killed in the Battle of Ba Sing Se. Because she works in the palace, they require her help in getting in to assassinate Ozai. But of course, we know this isn't going to happen. Even if you haven't watched the original, you still knew this wasn't going to happen. But wait, you say, that's not what the surprise was supposed to be. No, it's the woman with the piss-poor sob story that lets them in is Princess Azula.
No way.
No shit.
I know we just started, but I have to take a step back and discuss this. Let me preface this as some of you might be thinking this is an overanalysis of the show and I'm overly nitpicking it. Again, let me point out that the original was intended for 7-year-olds and up, while this show is targeted for teens and up. Obviously, this show is targeting an older demographic, so the logic and reasoning should at very least have some semblance of common sense. And I think holding the show to this standard level writing is more than fair. Okay, this is a group of Earth Nation rebels in the Fire Nation capital. One of the rebels suggests they should wait until their numbers have increased. But the head rebel says no, because they have their anger and their grief on their side.
What? What?
Okay, some of you are saying, yes, he's pissed off. And because he's so pissed off, he's making an impulsive decision, letting his emotions make the decision for him. That's acceptable. But what about all of the other rebels? They're gonna buy that shit hook, line, and sinker?
What the fuck is this?
So as proof, he invites undercover Azula to step up and give her weak-ass sob story. And granted, the sob story was cut short for time, but even the undercover acting is piss poor, and at least one of the rebels should have been skeptical to her bullshit story. But they all buy it like a Billy Mays infomercial.
Then you need Kaboom. Spray Kaboom on a shower door, and it gets the tough stuff that the others leave behind. Kaboom, and the soap scum is gone.
But the idiocy still isn't over. Again, Azula is undercover. And remember, Azula is the fucking princess of the Fire Nation. Look at her undercover disguise. Some Earth Nation clothes and hat, and now she's fucking incognito?
Get the fuck out of here.
Nobody recognizes her? Everyone buys her piss-poor undercover performance? How fucking stupid do these writers think we are that people would buy the princess of the Fire Nation is going to be an inconspicuous spy to the rebels?
Sheer fucking hubris.
And if you've seen my past reviews, you probably already figured out that none of this is source material whatsoever. Now we're only 5 minutes into the episode, and unfortunately, I'm not done yet. Now we have to address the elephant in the room. Who the fuck casted her to be Azula? Whoever it was, whether it was a committee or a single person, I say this with sincerity, you fucked up. She's an absolute horrible casting choice. Not only does she not look the part, but just like the rest of the cast, her acting isn't any better either. Her screen presence is non-existent. She holds no gravitas or any aura of evil moxie. She's just another cardboard cutout that doesn't even resemble the source material.
God damn it!
Motherfucker!
Now with all of that said, let's soldier on through this episode. On their way to Omashu, Aang and Katara stop by a river with Katara practicing her waterbending. The writing is so poor that they have to stop the pacing of the story in order to insert these character developing moments while expositing more piss drinking dialogue.
Whoa! Is that piss? Oh!
Zhao
Fight like a man.
requests to Zuko that he may be allowed to alert his contacts for any Avatar sightings, and Zuko expresses his dislike of him. A crewmate tells Zuko that Zhao failed his officer's training 3 times. Now, this is an absolutely pointless fact changed from the source material. If we're not supposed to like him, or the show wants us to believe that he's an incompetent officer, then just show us rather than always telling us.
You are a worthless piece of shit, pal! Get out of my face!
Team Avatar reaches the gates of Omashu, and we are introduced to Jet. Or at least, this version's Jet. He sneaks them inside, and Aang sees what appears to be another Airbender. But when he meets him, he sees an Indian kid in a wheelchair.
Ho, ho, ho! Patel?
He must be a leftover from the Shyamalan version or something. Anyway, Omashu is rife with Fire Nation spies bombing the city randomly, and Aang wants to know more about them. Back in the Fire Nation,
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
seriously, what the fuck? I've already addressed the casting for Azula, but she is supposed to be May? We know what May looks like. They cast the other main characters to resemble their animated counterparts. So what happened here, pray tell?
I am not fucking with you.
Now, some of you are saying that May is a relatively minor character, which is true. With that said, one would think that the talent pool would be larger because it's a smaller role. However, the issue lies within the story. Who is May? She's the girlfriend of the Fire Nation prince. As a prince, he could pick anybody that catches his fancy. And this show is going to force feed to us that she's the one that catches Zuko's eye?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
So obviously, within the story, she's an absolutely horrible casting choice. You know it, I know it, and even the woke DEI agenda defenders of the show most probably know it as well. But being that they are subservient to their woke overlords, they keep their mouths shut and nod their heads. It's clear that Azula and May are casting choices due to nepotism or cronyism in the industry. Now that is the first thought that comes to mind. However, if it isn't, and they were chosen because they were more aligned to a woke DEI agenda, then these fuckheads just caused a bunch of would-be skinny actors to start binging Twinkies for their next role.
I'm fucking hungry now, you know.
Anyway, back in Omashu,
Patel?
and his inventor dad exposits more history of the world. Commander Zhao reports that there was an airbender sighting in Omashu, and Iroh and Zuko will investigate alone. Katara witnesses Patel's dad conspiring with a Fire Nation spy, and Jet stops her from intervening. Jet and Katara follow the spy into the woods, where his gang eventually takes him out. Jet shows Katara his hideout and exposits his victimhood, while apparently unlocking a block that has been hindering Katara's waterbending skills. Aang and
Patel?
investigate a cave and find blasting jelly was being made along with Jet's clothing. Katara confronts Jet, and he tells her they're going to kill
Patel?
dad along with the Earth Nation King as they switch his boxes with a box of blasting jelly. Katara tells Sokka and Aang they have to stop him when they are confronted by Zuko. Aang tells them to go as he fights Zuko alone. Anyway, in the nick of time, Katara saves the day by extinguishing the fire arrow in mid-flight.
What else is new?
Iroh runs cover for Zuko, and Aang is captured by the Earth Nation. And that is the end of episode 3. I know I've glossed over some other parts of the episode, like Sokka's interest in the inventor's inventions, but it's not even a B-plot to the episode. It's just there to take up screen time. If the point of omitting episodes was to create a single cohesive narrative, then why are they amalgamating it into the main narrative when all it does is lead to a dead end?
Are you fucking retarded? The hell's the matter with you?
And I left the last because it's the most egregious part of the episode, and that is once again Azula.
Fucking hell.
If you've seen the original, you know she isn't mentioned or introduced until the end of the last episode of Season 1. Thus, her character plays no part in any of the events in Season 1. Yet, the dunce writers decide to insert her right here. We've already gone over the piss-poor introduction of her in this episode. Then she learns from Ozai that Zuko found the Avatar, and because of this, she's pissed off jealous. What petulance! From the onset of introducing Pigeon Neck Azula, the show has already fucked up arguably the best antagonist of the show. Then adding insult to injury, they fuck up the first season's antagonist too, in implying Commander Zhao's an incompetent leader. Instead of doing his job for status and glory, he's a sniveling, conniving little man doing Azula's bidding in order to gain a promotion.
Fucking hell.
If Zhao's an incompetent leader, as the show explicitly implies, and he constantly outsmarts Zuko, then pray tell, what does that tell us about Zuko?
He is an idiot. We have purposely trained him wrong, as a joke.
If you've got an ass, I'll kick it.
This is the third episode, and clearly we can chart the path of the downward spiral the show is going. And I always say this because it continues to blow my mind that all of these scripts were greenlit before any big production dollars were spent.
Fucking hell, look at that.
Stupid!
Even though there's a lot of action in this episode, it takes forever to get to it, with bland and burdensome exposition with piss-poor acting. The pacing is constantly slowed because of this, and the show never has any kind of momentum in its resolutions. Although the set designs look decent, the overall appearance feels small, with green screen backgrounds inside a soundstage. There's an overall phoniness to the look. Again, this is an amalgamation of the two episodes, The Western Air Temple, which is a self-contained story on its own, and the episode Jet, where we meet him and his band of freedom fighters. Now, the DEI-compliant company man showrunner did say it seemed natural to blend these two storylines into one. Why? Who knows? It would have been better to just omit the Western Air Temple storyline altogether. It wouldn't have been missed or needed with their intended single cohesive show narrative. They could have focused more on the world building and showing off Omashu, but I think they really wanted to introduce
Patel?
the DEI agenda compliant kid, and that'll do it for this video. At this point, you know it and I know it. All these changes from the source material is deliberate. Not only is it deliberate, but you can clearly see it is deliberate in promoting a woke DEI agenda. If the Netflix overlords wasn't pushing it deliberately, then by sheer common sense, the writers would follow the source material, even if the showrunner was a company man. We'll get into this more when we get to the show recap. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in my next video. Until then.
Oh man, the movie's too long. Nobody want to hear that. Here's some cartoons over here.